Okay, everyone, I want to take you guys on a walkthrough of the system builder for IQ8 commercial projects. So if you're building a commercial project for Enphase and you'd like to know what kind of pieces and parts to order or what kind of pieces and parts to quote, this is how you do it. So here I am. I'm on the Enphase landing page, enphase.com. I'm going to go over to installers and I'm going to click on it and then come right over here to System Builder. All right, so System Builder is going to open the System Builder. Default, it's going to pop up residential. We're going to want to change that. So here we are, System Builder. I'm going to switch from residential to commercial. And once I do that, we're going to have a couple new options. We're going to, first, it's going to ask you, what is your panel voltage? So let's do an easy one first. Let's say that we're dealing with one that's a 208Y. That's what our product is natively. So no extras are going to be needed for this thing. And let's just say, okay, we're doing a 300 amp panel. So we're going to choose 201 to 400 amps. And then you're going to plug in the module wattage that you're going to use. So for the sake of today, I'm just going to pick a random number, 520. But you'll know what you need for the projects that you're doing. And then you'll say how many modules you're planning on using for that project. So let's just say 75 for the project I'm thinking of quoting this time. And it's going to tell you, all right, 39 kilowatts, given the size of them. Then, what is the orientation that you guys are going to be doing on that project? So it matters whether or not it's portrait or landscape because it's going to spit out a different size cable depending. So you can see if I switch over to landscape, it gives you that landscape with the larger pitch. If I do portrait, it has this smaller cable that has a shorter distance between drops. And it's going to give you an amount of drops that's extra. It's always going to be 5% greater than your module count. So you could say if I put 100, it's advising you do 5 extra drops. If I do 200, it advises 10 extra drops. So let's stick with this 75 number and keep on moving. We're going to, in this case, pick portrait. Um, Portrait cable. And then, yes, we're going to be center feeding. And because we should always be center feeding. Why? Well, we could find out right here. So in order to avoid voltage rise, me, Andrew, the technical trainer at Enphase, is always going to tell you to center feed. So yes, we are center feeding this. And it's going to tell you, all right, well, if you're using a module of that size, you should use an IQ8P. And then it's going to ask you a couple little other pieces of information. So it's going to ask you, is there an environment with high electrical noise? In this case, no. And how do you plan on connecting your system? So cellular and Wi-Fi, cell only, Wi-Fi only. Are you going to run Ethernet cable? What are you thinking? So for this project, we'll say we're just going to use the business's Wi-Fi. Then we're going to hit this calculate button. It's going to tell you all the components that you're going to need for your project. Main components. So how many microinverters you're going to use? 75. How many gateways? One. Your 600 amp CT. It's then going to say, all right, you need 79 drops based on the amount that you need plus overages. Terminator caps that you're going to need, 2 per circuit. Cable seals, adapter cable, center tap adapter cable. Just spit out a number of all the Enphase components you're going to need, and then it's going to tell you the third-party products that you're going to need. So in this case, 7 circuits, 7 breakers, and 3-phase panel. You're going to need 1 of those for your PV sub. This is how many breakers you're going to need as your main panel breaker, and then the modules that you guys have spec'd. If you want it to be an Excel file, that's no problem. Download it, and it will spit you out a little Excel file that'll show you everything you need. All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit and just show you one little difference. So let's take a look at a slightly more complicated one. I'm going to go back into System Builder and we're going to again hit commercial. When we do this time, we're going to pick a higher voltage. So we're going to call it 480. We're going to say that the service amperage is 600 amps. And we'll use the same module wattage, but we're going to say that it's bigger. So we're going to put it in landscape, and we're going to say that it's a big 2.4 meter large frame format panel. When we do that, it's going to spit us out the largest of our cable lengths. Um, we're going to say that we're center feeding it. Yes, of course. We're going to say that it's 325 panels, call it. It's then going to give you again that 5% overage. It's going to recommend that IQ8P because of the module wattage. This time, let's say we're going to connect using cell. And this time, let's say, yeah, this is a high electric noise environment. Now look at it. It's going to change a few things. So instead of a single gateway, since it's going to know your module count and how many modules per gateway there can be. So it's going to tell you to use an additional one of those. So now we need 2 gateways instead of 1. Now we need a cell modem kit because we selected cell. We need a line filter because there are 2 gateways and because this is a high noise environment. So we need an additional line filter for the high noise. And it's telling us, plenty of drops. It gives you that 5% overage, just like I was talking about before. The other thing it's going to tell you is that you need a 208Y transformer. So that's a third-party product, but it lets you know that you need that because you're not starting with 208Y. All right, same thing. You just download the Excel file, yeah, and open it up. So I'll open up the Excel file now. Let me shrink it down so you guys can see it. So if you need, you could use this Excel file or just write off the website. This is your project. So, the absence of some ticky-tacky BOS, this is what you're going to use to present to a installer. If you're a distributor, this is what you're going to use to nail down your project cost. If you're an installer, really valuable tool. So thanks for spending your time with me. I hope you guys found it useful, and thank you.